Well, the U.S. Grains Council's Global Ethanol Summit currently underway in Virginia. Ron Lamberty with the American Coalition for Ethanol traveled 1,300 miles to the event in his hybrid electric flex fuel vehicle to showcase the value of ethanol blends. He joins us now for an update. Ron, thank you as always for being here. Hey, before we get to the event, we have to ask you about your flex fuel vehicle. This sounds pretty impressive. I've seen them on the road.
Yeah, I mean, regular flex fuel vehicles are on the road and hybrids are on the road, but there aren't, that we know of, there aren't any or very many hybrid flex fuels. The manufacturers, none of the auto manufacturers make a hybrid flex fuel, and so we basically bought a hybrid that we've found a kit that we could convert it with, and that's what we're doing and running the numbers, because when you look at the ratings that EPA and fueleconomy.gov put out, they have this score that's a carbon intensity at carbon grams per mile. And with most vehicles, they're around 400 if they run on gas. But if in a hybrid, it's down around 213 in this particular vehicle. And we figured if you used a fuel that had less carbon, like E85, then maybe we could cut another 30 or 40% off that, which brings the number down to like 130 or 140. And that's about what the average electric car does. So with all this talk about cleaning up or reducing carbon pollution and everybody just automatically thinking that means electricity, full electric cars plugged into your wall, we wanted to point out that there's other options. So that's what we did here, and I've driven it now 32,000 now as of the last couple of days. So, but yeah, the numbers are coming out pretty much in line with what we thought they would.
A lot of people go, wait a sec, so you're getting the attention, right? And this is really kind of drawing a lot of eyes on you. So has there been talks about, hey, this is the way to go?
Not enough. No, we just try to make people aware that it's out there, because it's just a weird gap that doesn't seem to have been considered. Now, RFA has a plug-in hybrid that also runs on E85 that they've done just recently within the last year. So that'll add to it. But, we need to get as many eyes on it as we can so that they can see that there are things you could do right now to get those numbers that people only seem to be hoping for in the future. And E85 is a great clean fuel all by itself, but when you couple it with the fact that while you're driving, you can charge a battery, and while you're driving around town, maybe you use battery instead of fuel, it just makes more sense to us. And I think, Toyota's done that in Brazil with a couple of cars, but I mean, literally a couple of cars. And I know when I was at the India Auto Show earlier this year, they had brought one there. So I don't know if you call that momentum, but it's hopeful, and it's a good idea, and something that the folks that control those things ought to consider.
Absolutely. I like it. If they're not giving you what you need, you make your own. You have to be so frustrated, right, Ron, of course, with the administration and their focus on all electric without flex fuel vehicles. I mean, this is just beyond frustrating for the industry.
It is, and I think there's an attitude sort of among environmental folks that maybe if they consider other options, then electricity will go away. I mean, this is partially an electric vehicle, and electric vehicles make sense in some areas, and big cities where you can plug them in, you don't have long commutes. But man, 1,300 miles across country and 1,300 back, and I think I only got about 400 left, so I'm doing pretty good. But boy, I can't imagine having to stop and plug in for 20, 30 minutes every couple hundred miles. And that's what I think most people in the middle of the country are worried about with, it's range anxiety, they call it, with electric vehicles. Plus, if everybody's using electricity, what happens to that? Where do we get it from? And I know there's plans, but I mean, there's got to be other options. And this one makes the most sense to me and to a lot of other people, I think.
Well, I know you're going to be speaking a lot about this at this week's summit, Ron. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Boy, looking forward to catching up with you again and talk more about this vehicle. American Coalition for Ethanol Chief Marketing Officer, that's Ron Lamberty.